Today we're taking a look at the new 2024 Mach 30 DS from PSE. Just a reminder guys, head on over to mikesarchery.com to pick up any of our latest logo gear. We got plenty of hats and shirts as well as any gear you might need for your next adventure. Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and today we are taking a look at the new 2024 lineup from PSE, and they have got an all-new carbon bow called the Mach 30 DS. We're pretty excited to bring this bow to you. It's a completely redesigned carbon riser and a 30-inch axle-to-axle. It's got a lot of great specs, so let's get into them here. The speeds on this bow are going to be coming in at 340 feet per second. The axle-to-axle, obviously at 30 inches, gives you an overall cam-to-cam length of 35 3/4. From there, you've got a brace height on this bow of 6 1/8 inch with a reflex of 5 1/2. Now, the advertised weight from PSE on this bow is 3.8 pounds. We pulled it out of the box, threw it on the scale. We got it at 4.2 pounds with all the accessories that comes with it on it, and then dropped down to 4.0 after we took the stubby stabilizer and the limb dampeners out of it. Now from there, the draw length option on this bow is going to go all the way from a 24 1/2 on the low end, so you're going to be able to get some really short draw lengths on this. If you've got a woman or even a teenager that wants to get into a top end bow, it goes out to 30 inches on the long end, which is pretty much where we see most of these 30-inch axle-to-axle bows stop. Now the draw weight option on this bow is going to be available in 50, 60, 70, and even 80-pound options on these limbs. So you're going to be able to get this bow in just about any poundage to fit your needs. Now the EC2 cam that they've had for the last several years is coming standard on the new Mach 30, and it still has those great adjustability with the mods there, being able to not only move your draw length, but also that let off from 80 to 90%. And if you want to go to a low let off mod setting, you're going to be able to run that from 65 to 75% if you like a little more holding weight. So now let's look at some of the features that PSE's brought for this new bow. As usual, they kept with that 220 shim system that they came up with for the last couple of years, and it's still a great way to be able to tune those cams, get a perfect bullet hole, and get this bow shooting exactly the way you need it to. Loosen up everything, pull those shims right out, swap them back and forth from side to side as long as you keep that 220 spacing between them, and move that cam left and right to get a perfect tune. Now they still have the full draw stability set up, and at full draw this bow is rock solid from what we've seen of shooting it the last few days, and it still has that PBT set up there to be able to tune and yoke tune those cables as well. It just gives you more tunability and adjustability in this setup. So one of the first things we noticed pulling this bow out of the box is the new CGM roller cable rod. It's completely redesigned roller cable guard. It's going to hold those cables at a perfect position to eliminate some lateral torque at full draw, working with what they had already incorporated with the full draw stabilization system, just giving this bow a rock solid feel. So PSE has kept with their integration on this new carbon bow, so you still got the option to put the dovetail QAD rest on the back, and you can also pull that mount off and use the Hamskea core mount. So you've got a wide range of rest options at this point that you can integrate into this riser. They've also added the pick rail mount to their carbon setup, which has not previously been available on their carbon risers. With that pick rail system, you can now get any sight on the market that is available with that pick adapter, and every day there are more accessories being available for you to mount on these pick rails as other manufacturers add this to their integration options. Now, if it's something you still want to use your standard sight mount and standard rest mount, all that is still there on this bow, so you can use any conventional sight or rest as you always have. Now PSE also came up with a new integrated quiver setup. It's going to be using the triangle brackets top and bottom. They're going to have several accessory options there. Not only a two-piece top and bottom, but also a new gripper system that is going to mount onto the back of that cable rod. So if you notice, it is a wide cable rod setup with a couple holes drilled in the back. You're going to be able to put your arrow grippers directly onto that cable rod with just a hood up top, eliminating that extra piece of your quiver and bringing everything in closer and tighter to your bow. So PSE did change up the lower stabilizer system with the new Killshock 2, which is half the weight of last year's model. It still takes out a ton of vibration, makes a great shot feel down there toward that lower limb pocket, and you've still got all your standard stabilizer bushings to allow you to set up any configuration on this bow that you might want. Now this bow is coming to you in several great color options, with the carbon bow available in black, charcoal, as well as the gunship, which is a gray riser with subalpine limbs. You can also get this in the new Kryptek Skyfall, as well as Kuiu Verde 2.0 and Mossy Oak Bottomlands for that old school look. Now the Skyfall camo is also going to have those bronze limb pockets and bronze cams to really set that bow off and make it look a little different from just the standard black cams. Now the price point on the new carbon is going to come to you at $17.99, and from what we've seen out of carbon bows, this is right in the wheelhouse of that price from everybody else, maybe even a little bit cheaper because PSE did not take a price increase for 2024. Now from here, we're going to step back to the lane and we're going to shoot this bow over the chronograph, giving you a breakdown, as always, from 350 out to a 500 grain arrow, as well as the noise rating with a setting of 29 inches, 70 pounds on 90% let off. So we step back here to the lane and we have got the new Mach 30 DS from PSE, and we're going to shoot this over the chronograph, give you a breakdown on all the numbers. As usual, we are shooting this at 29 inch draw length on 70 pounds and 90% let off. So let's just see how this thing shoots and feels. All right, so as far as speeds go, we started with the 350 grain arrow and we got 321. From there, with a 400 grain arrow, we got 297, just a shy under that 300 mark. And on 450 grains, we got 283, and with a 500 grain arrow, it dropped down to 267. So overall, putting up some really nice numbers on a 30-inch carbon bow. Probably if you took it out to 30 inches, you're going to see pretty close to spec as to what they're advertising on this bow. Now from there, we got the decibel reading on the noise rating, and we have got 97 decibels. So definitely not the quietest bow we've shot, but overall for a hunting bow, it is pretty nice. I don't see that you're going to have any issues there from the noise. Now, as far as the feel on this bow, we've loved the Evolve cam since it came out, and this EC2 cam is no different. It's very smooth, as always. You still got a very similar feel to what you have over the last several years from PSE with this. However, on the aftershock from this, I know carbons always feel a little bit different, and this one definitely feels different than what we've seen in the past. It's a little deader. It doesn't have that thud to it that we've normally felt in a carbon bow. It just feels different if you've ever shot one, but this one feels a lot better. The other thing we noticed is at full draw. Whatever PSE is doing with that full draw stability, this bow sits, it holds, it points well. I think you're going to notice it if you go to your shop and grab one of these new bows and shoot it. When you get to full draw, you're going to notice that it is just rock solid at full draw and easy to hold on target. So overall, still same grip as they've had for the past few years on that carbon bow, but we like that grip. It's a nice thin grip, fairly torque free. Just overall a real winner here in this 30-inch axle-to-axle from PSE. We're real excited about this bow, and I feel like you guys are gonna love it if you put it in your hands with the new features and the changes on it. It's just an overall winner that PSE's got for 2024. So if you're looking for a new carbon bow and you want to be at the top end with the best of everything, then give us a call here at Mike's Archery so we can get one of these new 30-inch Mach 30s in your hand.